The Western world is in ruin and ready to collapse. The so-called resistance leaders, they rage bait the slaves, pushing their own demise. Stay angry indeed. Black pills of despair rain from the sky. No one can stop the fall. No one can stop Black Chad, demon of despair.
Stop putting your emotion into it.
Wait,
we need to look for alternatives.
what's this?
Look for solutions. We can't just, give in to despair and this programmed demoralization of the West. Come on, guys.
What? You're not full of rage or despair? Fine. I will imprison you in an astral dungeon and keep you away from the others. No one will hear about your alternatives or your solutions or your silly indie brands. No one cares. The despair programming must continue.
What?
Welcome to Forever, nerd.
You haven't won, Black Chad.
Oh, yeah?
I'll talk to and review every indie creator I can, and we'll fight against your despair.
Even the bad ones?
Yes, even the bad ones.
Oh.
You don't get it. I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me!
Oh.
Now on with the show.
Oh yeah, and now on with the show. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining me in my dungeon and keeping me company. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
So today I have a couple of awesome guests. Basic Expert, you're returning to the show. And Jared, I don't think you've been to the show yet, have you?
I have not. I've been on shows with you, just not this
with
one.
us. Or with me. Yes. Yes. Yeah, because we actually, little intro, so me and Jared are in an anthology together called Out of Obscurity. That's all funded, right? Like that's not still funding on FMC,
well,
right?
it's I believe the funding, because we did 2 runs. We did the initial run that ended in August, and then we actually had a small demand from people, and they said, hey, I wanted to get in on this and didn't get a chance to, so we opened it back up through September, and we got some more backers. We had almost got up to $1,900 total. We needed 1,200. Nice. So we're well over funding, and I believe that we're going to start printing sometime in November, I think was the plan. And so we should see something in the next month.
Yeah, so thank you for pushing all of that. You were really the one that got behind the 8-ball on that. So
thank you. Very, very good experience. Lots of fun and making networking and bridging and all that good stuff.
Yeah, well, because you're kind of new to the scene, right? Like you have Frost Comics.
Yes,
but,
very new to the scene.
Yeah, yeah. So because you're working on a story now about angels, is that right?
Yeah, so it's crazy how I got into this, because I never planned to do any of like this, like my face being here and everying. I started writing for someone 2 years ago, and
welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah. Yeah, so the plan was I was going to let him do all the promotion, and I was just going to be like a humble background writer, right? And then I learned he had absolutely no idea what he was doing, and he didn't. He's kind of like catching up to where I am now after 2 years of trying to figure this out, but he got my writing itch going again, and I had so Project Seraphim is something I've been working on for like over a decade, but I ended up like you got bills, right? You got bills, you got a family, you got to pay the bills and everything, so I kind of gave up on it, and then indie comics exploded into what it is now, where you can crowdfund and you've got all these people and you can network and meet people from other countries and stuff. And so I was talking to some friends, and I was like, well, I really want to write, but like this dude has no idea what he's doing. And they were just like, well, why don't you just do it yourself? And I was like, well, do you think this would work? And so people gave me some positive feedback, and that's how I started writing what I've got now.
That's awesome. I mean, where else are you going to start? That's a great start.
Exactly. Super Guy was a pleasant bump along the way, which I hope to expand on.
Well, Super Guy got a lot of attention because it's like the comedy skit, right? And it looks hilarious. He's like bumbling around. He's like Biden. It's Super Biden. Just kidding. Oh, gosh. Now I'm canceled. Yeah, come on, man. You see his saggy ball chin masky thing?
Yeah.
That was weird. Like, what happened to him?
I don't know. I don't
2
know.
weeks.
I don't think it's natural though. I think that might
That's
be
a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally a CIA mask, dude. I mean, I've seen Mission Impossible. Okay, clearly it's possible.
2 weeks. No, just
Mission Impossible, like that face thing that they got in Winter Soldier in the MCU,
Yeah.
where like Michael just pulls it off. Yeah, like
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Anyways, all right, and we also have the basic expert. So thank you very much. You, sir, you're coming off of this hot ass campaign. I don't want to mispronounce it. How do you pronounce it?
Makuhito.
Makuhito. There we go.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
and,
a hell of a weapon.
Yeah. So that campaign like kicked a lot of ass, right? Like you
Yes,
were-
I was not expecting that. It was like almost 150% funded. I asked for 10K to get books printed, like a nice
Yeah.
hardcover version of the book. And this is a game for people that don't know.
Yeah.
A RPG book. And I got like almost 1,500.
Wow.
So
Oh,
You know.
yeah.
Congratulations on that.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
So I wasn't, it's kind of I've mentioned multiple times, it's like a niche within a niche, a niche within a niche. And it's I wasn't sure if people would be interested in a Mesoamerican game that uses like old school D&D rules, but apparently they are.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well,
I
there's
think-
nothing else like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you got something unique, man.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a lot of flavor.
Hog mugging.
I really like the white box feel and all that. It's perfect.
Yeah, when I was struggled with this, I wrote it for BX, I wrote it for my own system that I've written, and
Yeah.
once I started tampering with a 0E with white box, really old school original rules, it just
Yeah.
clicked. It felt right. So even in
Yeah.
play testing, so I hope people enjoy it when they
Just
get it.
brutal, huh?
Yeah.
So
What, you ever see a Makuhito? Like, it's obsidian edge. It's sharper than most medieval swords.
yikes.
No, I have
It's like
not.
surgeon scalpels. It's a bone saw. It's a piece of wood with pieces of obsidian on it.
Yeah.
And
Whew, brutal. I like it.
yeah, it's awesome.
All right.
Damn.
So what I would like to do is I would like to kind of start off instead of bitching about what Disney's doing and all this stuff. I kind of want to just make jokes and do some trivia.
I'm down for that.
All right. I like that. Jared's already laughing. That's a good sign. So I have 3 categories.
I know what my
this is
job
kind of
is.
like Jeopardy. This is like Jeopardy, light. Like it's not real serious. So, but I do have 3 categories that are trying to reflect your guys's, backgrounds or whatever that, your kind of products that you got going on. So the 3 categories are Aztec trivia, Seraphim trivia, and D&D. And since I don't know, I guess Mr. the Basic Expert is next to me. There he is. Oh, there it is. How about you take your first pick, sir?
Well, let's see how good of a research I did. Let's try the Aztec.
Uh-oh.
category.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I love
Yeah,
that
there we
set
go.
history.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. Let's see. Question number 1. And of course, you can just chime in whenever you want, and just whoever gets the answer right or is the funniest wins. So,
Oh, no.
all right. This
Wow.
delicious treat was given to the Aztecs by the god Quetzalcoatl, or possibly the Olmec.
Oh man, that could be like anything. That could
Anything?
That could
Yeah,
you say
see,
chiclets?
too much research is what that is. Way too much.
be. Yeah. Oh man.
How about this? Go ahead.
Oh, go. You go ahead first.
Well, I was going to give a little bit of extra. Traditionally, like today, it's sweet, but back then it was more
okay.
hot.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's
I'll
easy.
go. I'll go with cocoa chocolate.
Yep. Yep.
Yes, bing, 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 chocolate
Nice.
it is.
And didn't they smoke it instead of eat it?
Oh,
They would make drinks out of it. They'd put it in food and all kinds of stuff. It was used as
My-
currency.
my 5-minute Google, it was considered as like the drink of the gods, and they would drink them
Mhm.
during rituals. Because apparently,
Oh, yeah.
archaeologists think that everything was a ritual. and everything was spiritual to everybody in the past.
Yeah.
So,
Just like it is now, like Funko Pops.
Twinkies.
yeah, because that's obviously what we always do.
Someone's
All
gonna
right.
someone's gonna be exhumed with all their Funko Pops, and they'd be like, "What?" the-"
Yeah. I
What
saw
re-
it, like
Really religious attire.
I
Yeah.
saw someone post like this horrific sex doll that had like a My Little Pony horse head.
Oh
And
my
someone said someday this will be dug up by an archaeologist and they will
Look at
think that
that.
this was a
Plastic is
religious
forever.
symbol. For some people it is. So I mean, and maybe they're right. I don't know.
10 minutes in, 10 minutes, and we're already at the sex dolls. All
I shall
right.
call her
Hey,
Amaranth.
you know, to give me a little credit, I was on with
Did you
Luke
say
Stone. And he
Amaranth?
jumped right into like the Sistine Chapel and how many penises were on it. So I actually lasted longer.
Oh, Luke, buddy, come on. All right. What do you suppose the Da Vinci Code would be on that? Oof. Question 2 of Aztec trivia. This close combat weapon was reported by Spanish soldiers as being powerful enough to decapitate both a human and the horse they rode in on.
Makuhito.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, dude.
Sorry, it's a bit of a gimme, but
Yeah.
that description was so cool. I was like, "Are you
So
serious?"
badass.
Like,
Yeah.
not only cut the dude, but also like the horse too.
Yeah, it was a
Wow.
bone
Shit.
saw. It was it surgical sharpness? The obsidian that they use, those chips. It
Yeah.
was more devastating than like the conquistador sabers.
Whoa,
That-
look at
it
you,
was just-
Mr. Ethnic.
It's very fragile though, because it is so sharp, which means it is
Yep.
very brittle. So,
Yep.
but they could replace the blades in it and everything. So, yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. That's what they look like.
Look at that.
Yeah, you sink that into somebody and then you rend it, so you pull it towards yourself, and it just it's like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Chainsaw.
Aztec version. Yeah.
So I still play. I have a weakness for Civilization, and I play the old one from PS3 that was like real arcade like. And their Aztec guys, they all run around with these, like they're
Mhm.
all their
Jaguar.
warriors. It's so
I swear
cool.
that's
Yeah,
a weapon I've used in Bloodborne.
Yes.
that is so gnarly. It's so badass. Look at that one. That's really nice.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
cool.
cool.
Nice.
All right. Sorry, give me a second.
We're
All
like
right.
nerding out on how to kill people.
Well, duh. That's half the fun. Okay. Third question. This myth describes the creation and destruction of the world in a series of epochs. Or is it epic or epoch? I say epoch.
Epoch.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
I mean, there's like the myth of the 5 sons.
Bing, bing. There we go. Well,
He is
obviously,
the basic expert.
you cleaned up on Aztec trivia. Big surprise there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, he is the expert. So right.
Yeah,
basic
on
one, though.
Basic. Yeah, the basic shit. All right. So well done, Mr. Basic Expert. All right. So next we have either Seraphim trivia or D&D. Mr. Jared, what would you like?
Well, I'm tempted to pick D&D because I've been playing a campaign with some friends for like the first. I've actually never played D&D until like this campaign.
Get out.
So
Get out right
I know,
now.
right? I have to.
Your nerd card has been revoked.
I'm
welcome.
more of a digital nerd, really.
Oh.
Like, ask me about a video game, I can probably answer it. but
Welcome.
Nice.
Come
Thank
here,
you.
bring it
I'm
in.
happy to be
Bring it in.
here. I'm happy to be here. I'm playing as a half-orc wizard because I wanted to get myself right from the start.
Oh
Nice.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take the Seraphim trivia. And I'm probably gonna
Bold.
bomb this really hard. Let's give it a shot.
Let's see how that pans out for him, Cotton. All right.
Yeah.
Seraphim trivia.
Ooh.
Number 1. Seraphim are angels with 6 wings. 2 are used to fly. 2 cover its feet, while the remaining 2 are for this. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Not masturbation. So
No, that's true. That's true.
we're talking about angels, guys. Come on. Gosh.
Hmm,
Anybody
I
can chime in. This is not
Doesn't
just
it
on
cover its
Jared.
body.
No,
I think
baby.
do they cover its face?
Ding ding ding.
There
Yes,
you go.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
well
you.
done.
Ah.
All right. Let's see. Seraphim trivia number 2. These 4 seraphim are known as the guardians of the 4 cardinal directions.
Oh.
Oh.
Boy. I don't know that one. You have to pass.
Anybody?
Boreas, Zephyrus. God, what were the other? What was the West Wind and the East?
That's all right. I was going for Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel.
I thought those were archangels.
I have. Well, he's the judge, so if he says it's right,
yeah, okay, I'll go with that. I'm not Christian, so I can't argue.
Oops, me.
If I miss another one, I might not be either by the end of the stream.
You have been excommunicated.
Yeah.
An army of nuns drives up in a bus and outside the front.
Okay, this one is a little bit of a curveball, but we're gonna run with it. Okay. The Enochian alphabet was allegedly revealed to this royal occultist and spy whose secret signature was 007.
Oh, God.
I know this. John D.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding.
Nice.
Well done. Yeah.
I got one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one
Very
angel
nice,
one.
very nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I got
As
4-1, so you're in really good shape right now.
Yeah.
As delivered by his what was it, like I think they were drug addicts together or something, I don't know. Anyways, definitely pulled one over on the royal house, that's for sure. Okay, so last category, D&D.
Yay.
Chris, you choose D&D? No. All right. So here we go.
I guess you could just forfeit the basic expert now, but you know.
Yeah, this is the basic experts game. We're just here to watch.
Yeah. Well,
sorry. This is
cleaning up.
world.
I love
we
it.
just live in it.
Yeah.
I wish I had a trophy to hand out. How about this? All right. Question 1. Gary Gygax left TSR in this year. Not as in this year, but in this. Anybody? Not just don't just put pressure on him. Wildly stab.
I'm gonna say like
8.
I'm gonna say 86.
Ooh, so close. Chris, you have a guess?
84?
No, it was 85.
Oh,
Yeah.
I knew it was somewhere
Right in the middle. It's like a game with a knife in the
If
hand.
this was
like
even
Battleship
Price is
would be
Right, you
good.
would have been good.
yeah.
This is by Google, so you might find it as 86 somewhere else and be like, Aaron's an asshole. He
I was
wrong.
I was guessing, so I just knew it was mid 80s at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Question 2. This is a tough one. You got to be old as bones. This battle system gate kept many normies by being too difficult to add up.
Thaco?
Yes, Thaco. Oh, is that at the same time? I think we have a tie. Bing, bing, bing.
Did each get a point?
Give that guy shit.
Yeah.
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 I mean, even before that, you didn't even have Thaco. You just had to look at an attack matrix and see what you hit. So
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so how do you pronounce it?
Thaco.
Thaco,
Like
Thaco,
taco.
Taco.
Just the H added in there. Taco. Yeah.
Tacos
That's
are
how-
great, so that sounds good.
Yeah.
That's how I
Taco.
Yeah.
Pretty
I
pronounced.
just when it's teenagers, we just all said Thaco. So
That's
it's funny
Waco.
how yeah. All right. Question 3. You can win D&D by doing this.
Pissing off the befriending the DM, like slipping him a cool 50. I don't know.
1 second. There we
Roll
go.
20 and retire. I don't know.
The only way to play is to not play. That's
Oh,
right.
the
Or
only
the only
way.
way to win is to not play. So
Yeah.
in the end, just don't start.
Shall we play? Okay.
So I've already lost
Yeah.
just as I start. Fantastic.
Don't even play. That's because
Oh,
that's the only way I've seen that you can actually win at D&D. It's just don't play. So. All right. Anyways, you have to work on my jokes, folks. It's fine. Okay, so let's catch up with you guys. We kind of were talking about your stuff at the beginning, but I just kind of want to come back to the Makahito. How was that? What was that like with your campaign? This isn't your first campaign, right?
No, this is
This is your
nice.
first campaign.
That is
First
awesome.
Wow.
first Kickstarter ever
Congrats,
done.
man.
It was pretty good. I think what allowed me to be so successful is that the book's already done. Like I'm
Yes.
kind of unique in the field of TTRPG designers and creators, where like I write everything, but I also do all the art. So
Nice.
so like I don't have to pay overhead for art. So really, like I just viewed it as this is pre-orders for the hardcover. Like if you guys want a nice hardcover, this is essentially pre-orders for it because it's already done. It's already play tested. It's already done.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't sure. I was really nervous going into it, and you know, I'm truly I'm still in shock that people like want to play the thing that I made. You know, but,
Right.
534 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's plenty. Oh, it's very nice.
I thought it'd be very stressful to run a Kickstarter, and it was, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like,
So
I thought
what did you do for marketing? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I ran some ads on Facebook and Twitter, and just talked about it a lot whenever I had a chance.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at shilling my stuff. I probably should get better at that, but
You have a really good channel though. Like you have quite a few subs, and you're pretty popular in your community, right?
I think so. I think that having like some name recognition, and then also like this isn't the first game I've ever made. You know, like I've made Atomic Punk, I've made Cow Punchers, so I think people kind of know that like, oh, he's made stuff. This isn't like is this going to get completed? Is this a real thing? Like,
oh sure,
you know,
had a good reputation already.
We know he makes stuff, and we know that he finishes things. So I think that was part of it too. But I just ran ads on Facebook. I didn't even spend that much. Like I think I spent like maybe like $100 on Facebook and like $50 on Twitter. Like that was it. I think it was more to do with like I'm blessed enough to have like a big channel, and a fairly big channel within this small section of the hobby, and therefore I have like a big platform to kind of do this stuff from, thankfully. So
did you do like signups and stuff to like before launch to get people interested before you went live, or did you just go right off the bat?
I did a pre-launch page, and like I did some like that's when I ran ads. I ran ads before the campaign, directing them to the pre-launch page, and just trying to get like as many eyes on it as I possibly could. And I sent this out to various other friends and YouTubers as well to look at it, and went on a few of their shows. So like on Diversity and Dragons and a few other podcasts and stuff like that.
Oh, very cool.
So I think all that kind of helped a lot. What really helped the campaign, I think, was Goodman Games gave me $1. And what's cool about that, Goodman Games does Dungeon Crawl Classics. What's interesting about that, and I learned that Goodman Games does this to a lot of different small projects. They go around giving them $1 because then it sends an email to all of their followers that like Goodman Games backed this project. So I got a bunch of people that follow Goodman Games that came over and backed Muckweedle. So that was super. I'm grateful to Goodman Games for doing that. That was super cool of them to do that for me. It means a lot. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a really cool little bump, huh?
Dungeons and Dragons has always been racist, you bigot.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, how is it that Makahito did so well if I don't know. There's a lot of white supremacists out there.
It's even worse, you gain XP by capturing people alive as slaves and sacrifice victims in the game.
Oh my god, canceled.
Well, we're canceled. Good night. We're
this
all
white supremacist on your channel, Aaron. Come on.
There's a whole mechanic behind it, and it's how you advance your character. So
yeah, do you have to roll a d20 to kick the heartless corpse down the steps?
you can just role play that out with your group if you want.
Go in the distance.
Don't ask the theater crowd to do that. Oh my god.
or maybe do.
Yeah. Let evolution sort its way out.
I'm pretty sure that's how cults start, but fair enough. I love it. So you drew all this? Do you have any background in drawing all of your stuff or what?
Yeah, I mean, I've all the books that I've released, Cow Punchers, Atomic Punk, like I illustrate all my own interiors and covers and everything. So except for this cover. This cover was a picture that was a Aztec. You can see it on the right hand side there as an Aztec calendar. Yeah. It was in the public domain, but I just thought it looked so cool, and I wanted the cover to be simple because it's going to be a matte black cover with red foil. That's going to be like the calendar and the words and everything.
Oh,
So
I see it. Yeah. Well, I mean, for all of us who survived 2012, we all recognize the Mayan calendar now.
Yeah.
So.
I like that
you-
joke where it's like, what if they just like we're like 2012? That's so far in the future. We can stop there.
Yeah.
We'll pick
I
it
don't
up.
know. I
again.
think they might have been right. So
Well,
it's fine.
you remember in the sci-fi movies, they're like in the year 2000, and it's like, dude, that was 23 years ago, and it's like this dystopian future.
Yeah, yeah. You know what's funny is I actually watched Blade Runner with my girlfriend in November in 2019. She hadn't seen it before, and I didn't realize that that's exactly when it takes place is in November 2000. We kind of looked at each other and got a chuckle out of that one. I was like, oh, where's our flying cars at?
Yeah.
It turns out that the calendar was really just talking about the end of sanity, not really the world, and that's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
borne out through reality.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's all making sense now.
yeah. It all
I just
comes
want to
together.
say that I recognize some of these town names just because of civilization. So I feel like
Nice.
a special boy. So
Dude, my history teacher in 6th grade used to call Tenochtitlan. He'd call it Tenochtitlan because nobody could pronounce.
Like I love if you'll scroll back up, I love that you've got the that's so cool how you like mirrored the designs there
Yeah.
based on like that is amazingly cool. I love
Yeah.
Yeah,
that.
it looks like archaeological stuff.
It looks so authentic.
I wanted the monster section, the mythical monster section, to look like the illustrations that were like on a illumination parchment or something like that.
sure.
The Aztecs would draw. So yeah,
That's cool.
I just want to point out the rule cyclopedia. Very nice.
Yeah,
I had that way back when I first started, and I swear there was rules in that rule cyclopedia that I lifted out of there and just kind of like always, kind of used, if not directly, then it was always in the back of my mind when, DMing and stuff like that. So especially with like 2nd edition where you would get, you get to like 9th level fighter, and now you have a keep and you've got like, you can have a small army basically. And in that cyclopedia, if I remember right, they had like rules for like mass battles.
I don't particularly like the mass combat rules in that, but
No, no, they're not the best.
They're really boring. Like you just do a lot of addition, you add a bunch of stuff up and
Yeah.
multiply, and then you're like, this is a number I got. Do I win? And
attrition.
You mean you don't
Yeah,
like accounting the game? Come on.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather
QuickBooks Pro the game.
I don't mind the crunchiness, but I would rather, instead of like doing addition and getting a number and going like, do I win? I'd rather just get miniatures and play out the battle. So
Oh yeah, sure, that makes sense. Yeah, a lot of times, we do theater of the mind or like draw and dry erase. So yeah, it's pretty much the same or similar, anyways, like the hex maps and everything. But yeah, like doing that old system got me into the idea of like, man, mass combat and all that stuff. But no, now my table right now we're playing 3-5, which I think we are going to be switching soon. I know I've said that before, but anyways, so in that it's more like you have to role play mass combat. You can't, unless you completely adopt another system to do it, which is fine. We just role play through it. Usually it's not that big of a deal because it doesn't happen a lot anyways,
yeah.
Anyways, I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
So what is this? What's your system with ripping out hearts and selling souls? What's that like?
So all the players will be playing generally like higher class characters, because the warrior caste was like almost near, like it was pretty much nobility. So you're playing as one of those, or you're playing as, there's a merchant class, there's a Nwahali, which is like a priestly, like shamanistic class, and then there's the eagle, jaguar warrior, Otomi mercenary, and Shorn one. And the Otomi mercenary and Shorn one are kind of like more elite classes, kind of like an AD&D 1st edition, where if you got lucky enough, you could be like a ranger or a paladin,
Oh, okay.
So that's how those two classes are.
Nice.
But so you go out, mostly you're going to be fighting other human type characters, with like, my vision of it was like the mythical monster sort of sprinkled in between, because this is a game about the war between a lot of the city states and stuff like that in the Valley of Mexico. So when you fight, you can try and use non-lethal force to take someone out.
What?
And
Yeah.
because
Why?
the Aztec warriors viewed killing an opponent if you didn't have to as like a waste. It was kind of sloppy. So if
Well,
you
yeah,
try,
you're killing a slave.
yeah, you're killing a slave. So if you bring a captive back, you get 5 times the XP value of that.
Wow.
That person. But the thing is that like as a referee, and I tell them to do this, like, you know, these people don't want to be sacrificed, so they're going to try and escape. They're going to try and sabotage you as you try, because they don't count until you get them back to safety, get them back to your safety, right? Not safe for them, but
the flag.
Safe for you. Kind of like an old school D&D where it was gold for XP. You know, you didn't count until you got it out of the dungeon and into town, and you were safe. That's when the gold counted as XP. It's the same thing. It's just, you know, with people.
So in the game, can you just tell them to wear a mask and lock down? Will they listen to you then? Sorry. Is that too new? It's too,
that might be a little. That might be a little too new. They might be a little confused by that. Bring that back.
Just line up. Put on this mask. I just wanted to point this hardcover offset. That is awesome.
Looks amazing.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah, so it'll be like matte black and then like that red foiling in there, and it'll have like a red ribbon in it too, like a red ribbon bookmark.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, like blood.
Yeah, blood.
And I just thought that'd go well because the color theme of the book is the black, white, and red, so that's throughout the whole interior of the book, as you can see there. So, yeah,
come on, this is gorgeous.
Yeah. I really tried to update or upgrade my layout game as far as like making my books too. Like I'm trying to get better at doing layout. It's kind of an art form in and of itself, but
yeah,
graphic design, baby.
And I used to do graphic design. I don't really enjoy it, but I actually do enjoy book layout. Book layout is kind of fun, but I guess especially when it's your own stuff and you're like, you know, you're passionate about it. But I would say like if you want to make your own game system, this is just a little bit of advice for people out there. And you're like, I'm not an artist. You know, but I got to save money here and here to make to make this project happen. Buy Affinity and learn layout, and you'll save yourself a lot of money. You know, learn to do it yourself. Affinity.
AF,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's better than InDesign in my opinion because it's a one-time fee. You buy it one time, it's yours forever.
That is nice.
Interesting.
You can do book layout. So.
Especially since the one-time fees are kind of going the way of the dinosaurs as far as software and everything else goes.
It's so frustrating, dude.
Yeah. That's why I refuse to use Adobe products.
Amen, brother.
It's a scam,
absolutely agree with you.
Look at that. Learn all kinds of stuff on this show. That's terrific. Thank you, guys. Well, because I'm considering doing a source book for my own stuff. I'm not going to do my own system. I think there's a lot of them out there, and I have nothing new to offer. So, like what you have going on is, you know, very unique and all that stuff. And, but what I do want to do is just have like a campaign setting with races and classes that may be unique, you know, and then do it for a few different, systems like 5e, Castles and Crusades, you know, just those kinds of things. You know, so I don't know, we'll see, but I'll take that into Affinity because, you know, I'm going to have to figure out how to do that eventually, how to lay out everything. And,
you're going to fire up Affinity and you're going to be like overwhelmed, but I'll send you
I get overwhelmed with GIMP, so I get it.
Yeah. Learning video editing. I was like, oh my God, you know, as soon as I got started on that. So.
If you do pick up Affinity and you want like a good tutorial video, I can try and send you one to help me. It got me like the basics going down, and now I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I have a
you're a
superpower.
basic expert.
Yeah, a basic expert in
the origin
Affinity.
story.
No, actually, the origin of the name is because there's the basic expert rule set, which is one of my favorite rule sets, BX. But also it's sort of a bit of self-depreciating humor, like you know, the basic. He's basic.
Basic.
So.
Yeah.
People get
respect.
People get mad at me on Twitter and they'll be like, "Oh, you really?" I'll say something they don't like you really are basic, you loser. And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, that's the joke." Like,
mad at you on Twitter?
Yeah, you have
really
that
on Twitter?
Yeah,
they do that on Twitter.
Yeah,
X now, I guess, but
yeah, I guess so.
People get like way worked up on social media now, like over like I was in a Facebook group once, and I'm working on my own tabletop role playing game system too. And I had like an alphabet that was part of like the language system, whereas like you actually had like a decoder ring essentially for like foreign languages. So I would actually throw it out in the foreign font, and then they would use the decoder ring and be like, oh, okay, and it was, a stupid, fun little gimmick where it was like, okay, if you don't have the language, you don't have the cipher or whatever. And like, I put it up there on this Facebook group, and it was if I just like butchered a baby or something in front of these people. They're like flipping out. Like this one guy was like so pissed off. He's like, we need to kick this guy from the group and stuff. And then there were like a bunch of people like, what the hell's your problem? He just showed like how is this that effect? What am I missing here? Like,
oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Like, people take their elf game. They take their elf game very serious. So
people take the internet like really, really seriously.
Yeah.
Everybody's so divided and just on, just real tense about everything. You can't say anything, and if you do,
it's true.
You're automatically judged as this side or that side on everything, on shit that you're like not trying to take a side on or offense it. Like you're just making an observation. Suddenly, this is what you are, and and here's your sign, and get out of here. It's like
you've seen that meme where the guy's like, he's like, you can't even say that you like pancakes, and then without someone saying, "What? So you hate waffles?" And he's like, "No, that's a different sentence. What are you talking about?"
Why don't you like eggs? God, Jared. Yeah, I don't know. Everything's crazy.
Don't forget, Marxist revolutions never fail.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Chad of
Set the
color
record
over there.
straight. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what kind of team did you have working on that game?
Just me.
Just you?
I'm a one-man show. I do everything myself.
Let me guess. There's no editor.
Oh no, is that right?
I had my play testers and various friends and family read over the text for me and try and find errors and stuff like that. So
yeah, what's that like? Play testing? How do you go about that?
I made some pre-gen characters because I didn't want to bother with like character generation because it can get it gets kind of complex. I add like a whole element of using the Aztec zodiac to kind of flesh out your character a little bit.
Oh, cool.
But so I gave them just like some pre-gen characters, and I said I set the game in during the reign of the first emperor of Tenochtitlan, and they were just going out and fighting the people of Texcoco and other people trying to wage war and conquer them and bring back slaves.
Yeah.
I run a very sandboxy game. I don't have an overarching story. I generally just make stuff up as I go along.
Nice.
So it usually works out pretty well for me. So we did that pretty much the whole summer, play testing that. Learned a lot, and it did help like evolve some things rule wise to flesh. Because when you're writing something, you sort of envision how it's going to work, but it doesn't. Then you bring it to the table and it doesn't work.
Yeah. It's like communism. Yes. It's great on paper, but in practice,
I don't know what you're talking about, Chris. God,
right up until you run into that thing called human nature, and it just all goes to shit.
I don't even like it on paper, but that's just
no. It doesn't on paper, but what can you do?
It works great if everyone's a Keebler elf. I mean,
everybody's in the Smurfs.
Judd Hirsch.
Right.
Yeah, that's some funny stuff. So, well, I don't know. I guess congratulations on all of that.
Thank you.
Sounds like a blast.
That's awesome.
What kind of stuff are you looking forward to? Like, what's next?
I'm doing research right now for the Spanish. That'll be like a little class expansion.
No.
Conquistadores número uno.
So, all right, real quick, I just want to know, between the two of us, have you amassed so much research knowledge that you're basically an Aztec priest now? Is that what's going on?
Don't wear my skin, please.
Just asking,
I don't think it's the month for the Xipe Totec ritual, but the flame.
That's a yes. That's not a no. I'm just saying that's not a no.
No, I'm working on the conquistadors, and I'm going to. It's not going to just be them. It's going to be the conquistadors and the Zapotec and the Tlaxcala tribes as well, who allied with the conquistadors, because they could not have done it by themselves. They had to have other native allies with them in order to do it.
Oh yeah.
So you'll be able to play, because the core book is just you're the Aztec warrior, and so this expansion will be this little expansion book will just be extra classes and some history and background information about it. It won't be very long, but just enough to like get that going, because a lot of people wanted that in the core book, but I was like, they had like 3 or 4 generations of rulers before the Spanish came, there's a lot of room there for you to adventure. Like the conquest took like 2 years.
Yeah,
That's not a lot
enough.
of that's not a lot of time. That's such a small fragment of their history. So it's not going to be that big of a book. So
right. Well, I got a question. Do you know who Graham Hancock is?
No.
Okay. Well, that's fair. He does like a lot of the, this, ancient civilizations in the past or whatever. They got it all wrong kind of stuff. Well, I'm not saying I'm like a big fan. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm a big fan of his or whatever, but he came out with a book. It was like the Magicians of the Gods or something like that. And it was based in, and I haven't read it, but I remember he was doing like the circuit, and I saw him on a podcast somewhere. And he was talking about how he wrote this, alt version of history where he kind of goes into it was somebody's, I think it was the ruler at the time, the Aztecs, the princess or somebody like that, and she goes off to another tribe with the Spanish, and it goes into a lot of the politics of apparently that was allegedly going on at the time, and he tries to expand on it and fictionalize a little bit of it. But I don't know, it sounded really interesting. I never got to it. I'm not, I just thought maybe you had heard of it.
Yeah, the Spanish,
or if you know anything.
Well, the Spanish were actually welcomed into Tenochtitlan at first, and then Cortez left his like buddy in charge, and his buddy was like, "Let's just kill him." And so then they got kicked out of Tenochtitlan, and Cortez came back, and it was like, my treaties.
What are you doing? what have you done?
Wasn't it like there was a myth that Quetzalcoatl would come back as a pale-faced bearded man? And that's what the priests or whatever had convinced the invitation of the conquistadors, where they saw Hernando Cortez, and it was this pale-faced bearded man, and they're like, "Hey, that's what's in our prophecies or whatever."
Yeah,
let him in. Like, I don't know how much of that is true.
I don't know how much of that is. I've heard that. I don't know how much of that is necessarily true.
Yeah,
I think some of the like the Tlaxcala and the Zapotec were just like, your guys are pretty legit, and you got some sweet ass weapons, and we hate those guys over there.
Yeah.
So,
gang warfare.
So we're more than happy to team up with you and take them out. So
my enemy's enemy is my friend.
Oops! Don't let him in your village. Is that slide trombone? Anyways. Well, that's pretty cool. I'm sorry. Awesome. Yeah, you said you're going to do the Conquistadors next. That sounds really fun. Man. That's going to be another big hit, man. That's great.
Yeah.
You're going to do all the art for that too then?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to kickstart that one. That one might just be print on demand because it's just going to be like a little source book, that's my next project as well. I'm doing research DLC on it though.
Little Eldorado.
That'd be fun.
But it's not like, horse armor or here's an incomplete game and now buy this $20 DLC so that you can have the complete game.
So modern video games.
Yeah, it's just a module, right? Just call it a module. So that'll work. So, all right, Jared, I guess let's stop stroking basic experts' ego.
I hope to have just as much to stroke, but he's got a lot more visible right now than I do.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Let's keep this a little more PG, guys. So, you've got the Seraphim stuff going on. How long have you been trying to build this up?
Not terribly long because it's been like I kind of let the cat out of the bag earlier. I've been working on it for so long, and then I put it. I worked on it for a really long time, and then I put it back in the freezer because I just thought, I don't really have a means of doing this. Then life happens, and we get here, and now I do have a means of doing it, and I'm not really.
Does that mean that you fridged it?
I kind of did, but I can put it back together unlike Green Lantern's girlfriend. So, so I brought it back out, but it's been like I figured. Well, it's been over a decade I've been working on this. There's really no hurry now, so I've been doing a lot of accumulating resources and putting stuff together. I've gone back and forth on PageLink based on a couple of different things. I've been thinking about cost, thinking about, what's the most satisfying way to tell the first part of the story. And do I want to do more of a campaign, or do I want to do more funding it myself and trying to figure out all the logistics and everything. And that really, the last 2 years has been really learning about all of that from people like, you know, the Luke Stones of the world and Hojo and, you know, looking at your campaign, Nicholas Mueller's campaigns that he's done with Demon Hunter Raven, Tonic Mole with Saving the World, and seeing what works for people like that, and Tyler Carpenter and all these different people who've been doing, you know, they've done 5 volumes, 10 volumes, 10 issues, whatever, and trying to see what they've done and figure out cost. And
Tyler's approach, I really like Tyler, at least what I know of him and some of his content. But one of the things I kind of like about him is that he looks for what the market is interested in, and then he tries to create a product towards that, instead of where my dumbass was like, oh, I want to bring this to the market, right? So,
yeah, my dumbass is the exact same method as your dumbass, which is to do the same thing. This is something I want to tell. I really hope someone wants to read it. So if not, it's going to be a very expensive passion project that doesn't really go that far. But the way I look at it is I need to do it for my own sake, and I hope that people like it. I hope they let me continue to tell the story. If they don't, then I'll look at it and say, well, I tried my best, and I can try with Super Guy or something else. But right now, it's really been I've got a lot of content that's ready to go. Everyone who watches anything I do, I name drop Animane a lot. He works with me a lot for a lot of video editing. He's done a lot of shorts for like the characters, which are, did you see the Super Guy short that had like the character select thing?
And he's like in the supermarket or something.
Yeah. So I've got like one of those for all of the characters that are in the Project Seraphim universe or whatever. And I just haven't dropped them yet, because the way that I figure is, you know, I'm still so far away from really pushing this and really pushing it that I don't really want to get too much hype or get people really interested right now. And then I'm just sitting on my hands, it seems like, while I'm doing a bunch of stuff. Because in the background right now, I'm doing a redraft because I got some really good feedback, and it was like brutally critical and honest. But like I looked at it and I said, I can take this and I can use this to improve what I have here. And so I'm doing a lot of rearranging. I had 2 different I had a subplot going on, and I thought, okay, I'm going to take this out, you know, using the feedback, take this out, make it a whole separate comic. So I just I'm really laser focused on this first one, try and push this to 52 pages, and then do a mini comic that I want to do digitally for free. And use that as kind of like a campaign boost when I do get this going, and say, hey, you can check this out, check out the art, check out the storytelling, and if you like it, boom, here we got the full 52-page one. And I really want to do kind of similar to what you were doing, Basic Expert, where you did all this yourself. I have retard fingers and I can't draw, but I can at least invest in people who can, with my own money, and I can just put my ass on the line instead of asking people to put their money into it until it's ready. And then I'll have as much as I can to show. The risk is mine, you know, and if they like it, I'll hopefully have like a lower goal and hopefully make enough back that I can put it into a second issue. So that's my goal. And then along the way, I've met so many really awesome creators and people, you know, like you and everybody on Out of Obscurity, that it allowed me to, you know, kind of get my feet wet with Super Guy and get some interest in that.
Well, you're singing the hashtag Just a Writer Blues. Yeah, I hear you, buddy.
Exactly right. Yeah, so that's the funny thing, right? I've been talking to this other person about that tried to get me into, you know, I was writing for him and everything, and I was talking to him about like his budget for what he wants to do, and he wants to do like a 60+ page book. And I asked him, you know, well, what's your page rate when you look at your line art and your colors and your lettering? And he gave me something that is in the hundreds of dollars. And I was like, bro, for 60+ pages, how are you going to afford this? So man, it's been a very interesting learning experience. And then I talked to people who were
like, I want to know for who would do that. Now, okay, because you can come up with a deal that sounds good to an established artist or whatever. Be like, okay, here's what, but it's gonna have to be where you have that kind of pull, like you know, not necessarily Eric July kind of pull, but just like enough of an audience that you can say, how about I pay you this much up front,
right?
And then we split the back end or whatever it is, you know,
something, right?
Come on,
I was like, my friend, you have got to lower your page rate, like, or you will either never publish this, or you will have to get 3, 4, or 5 jobs to afford it, because like this would be his first campaign ever. He does not have the, like, Hojo was like lightning in a bottle, right? Like, how many people are like Hojo with mythicals, where it's like he comes out, hey, this is my first comic, 12 grand. Not too many people,
No.
right? So with his first campaign, like, I calculated his cost before printing and shipping at being over $16,000. So I was like, homie, this ain't gonna work. You gotta get the cost down, because unless you're paying this out of pocket, you're not getting 16 grand. Because like I was looking at campaigns from people who are established, and like they maybe get over 10,000, but it's rare, really rare.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Well, it's a tough balance, because like you got to look at it from a consumer's perspective too, where it's like you have these two gauges that are in constant struggle. You have quality of product versus cost of production.
Exactly.
And if you lower one too much, then the other fails, and people are like, I'm not gonna buy this. This is a freaking newsprint like refrigerator art, and it's like,
how do you
that's
balance
all
it?
I can afford.
How do you balance it? It's a legit question.
Yeah.
How do you balance that? Well, you've got Frost Comics. Does that mean that you're just doing the Seraphim, or are you working on other stuff?
Well, so Frost Comics was it's the funny thing about it is I picked the name as kind of like honoring somebody that I is very near and dear to my heart, which is why I found the whole thing with the July name gravestone fiasco thing so odd. I don't want to talk about it at length, but it just struck me as kind of strange, because like as someone who wants to honor family and friends and things like that through my work, it seemed strange to me, because I thought, why is just because he named someone after an ancestor, how in the world is this like legitimate to suddenly say I'm going to go grave dance on the person because he's got the same name as the comic book that's bad.
I mean, I don't really think that was very funny. I thought some of what that Clipiverse dude has done was pretty funny, where he went to EVS and EVS is like, really, just $2 or whatever it was. That was pretty funny.
No,
but
the puppet's funny. The puppet's hilarious.
But like the grave thing, that was really weird.
Really, it was very weird. It was very weird behavior.
It's just like it lacks class, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very strange. So Frost Comics is just me wanting to respect somebody, and anything that I'm able to accomplish as a writer, I want that to be something that in a way is an extension of that respect of somebody that was near and dear to me. I established that, and I got the domain and everything long before I did anything, just because I thought, well, if I actually can pull this off, then I want to make sure that I have it actually owned, so that I'm not like trying. I'm not doing official frostcomics.com. It's actually frostcomics.com. So I was kind of thinking ahead with that. There's not actually anything other than just me writing what I'm writing here. I would like, in my heart of hearts, if a dream come true, I would love to write a ton of stuff under this brand, and I would love to make it a thing and have Project Seraphim be like its own universe, Super Guy be a thing, and I would love to do all of that. Right now, it's really just me and whoever I happen to be paying for art.
Nice.
Yeah, but you also have your you also have your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, that's actually kind of going to go back to what you were talking about, how you like Tyler Carpenter's approach. I do too. He makes a lot of people angry, which I find amusing.
You know what? It's funny. I tend to be attracted to those people.
Right? Yeah. So
not like in a sexual way. I'm like they tend to be the ones. They tend to be the ones saying important things.
Both hands on the keyboard.
I mean, maybe in a sexual way, depending on who says what. I can't. But I think he's got really good points. I think he really does.
Yes.
And when he talked about do you remember the experiment he did with My Sexy Witch Academia, where he was able to, as a complete no name, he was able to get it funded within a couple hours. That was really intriguing.
Based clearly on what he saw that the market wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah. There was no story or anything
on Kickstarter.
So his big advice is, to get yourself out there, and YouTube is a very good way to do that. And
Yes.
I looked at like I'm not throwing shade when I say this, but I look at like the YouTube space, and it's just so much bitching, and it's like it's just endless bitching about Star Wars, bitching about Marvel, bitching about DC, and like I get that there's like an audience for that. Like I've talked, I left a now infamous comment on A Drink with Crazy where Royce lost his shit because it was so long. Yeah,
like
and so
paragraphs.
like it was like a book, and I was talking about how I understand that it's frustrating for people like like us that are writing comics to say, well, why don't you talk about our comics? Well, there is an audience for people to bitch about She-Hulk. I mean, it does exist. And so I understand that, but like I also don't want to do that. I have no interest in watching She-Hulk. I have no interest in complaining about She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I'm not watching
or
She-Hulk.
Ahsoka or
I don't.
Guess what, nerd? George Lucas never loved you.
Oh, rough. Man, he never loved me.
Okay. So what I thought, okay, if I'm going to put myself out there, I'm going to stick my face in everyone else's face, and I'm going to do all this, then I might as well try and do different. And then that's what I try to make it like positive and make it like, so I've got about the July thing. I've got a video coming out, and the whole point of the video, it's not long, but the whole point of the video is like you cannot control like lunatics who are going to go grave dance. Only thing that you can do is how you react to it. And so it's just focused on let's just make what we want to make and to make it the best that we can. Take the criticism, take the praise, use it to your advantage, learn from it and don't let people who are just trying to clout chase or whatever, don't let them bother you, because that's what we can do. And so I try to do stuff like that when I'm just getting on a soapbox. And then I also try to do like the long form video essays. The one that I did about Gohan and Spider-Girl was just taking a look at characters in a way that people may not have thought. Because if you think about Gohan and Spider-Girl, they're like inverted reflections of one another. They're the exact opposite. And like Gohan, his dad, he's a pacifist, but his dad is a martial arts master, Goku. And on the other hand, like, so he never really wanted to fight. His dad wanted him to fight. On the other hand, Spider-Girl and Peter never wanted Mayday to become a superhero. He didn't even want her to have powers. So when she developed powers, he didn't want to train her. He didn't want her to go out and become Spider-Girl, but she was like raring to go, chomping at the bit. I want to go, because he taught her, unfortunately, that with great power comes great responsibility. And so she took that to heart and wanted, so they're really, and it was an interesting way of looking at the characters that not many people have done.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it sounds like they actually had development in a character for once, Like they always
crazy, right?
Spider-Man is he's stuck in.
And the weirdest thing, they never talked about Gohan's sexuality once. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, who's that dude on Twitter who just blocked me because he made a gay Green Lantern and nobody liked it?
I don't know. Tim Sinclair? That's it.
Sheridan or I don't know.
Sheridan. That was it.
Yeah. I never interacted with this guy. Yeah, I never interacted with this guy, and he freaking blocked me. I'm like,
cool.
Okay, like
thanks for taking yourself out.
To this day at how many people have me blocked that I have never interacted with.
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, talking to you, John Cusack.
I think it's I think it's cool that you try and focus on positive stuff too, because like in the role-playing game space, there's like a lot of the same stuff where people want to complain about WotC, they want to complain about like all this stuff. And I dabbled in it for a little while, but you realize like, man, this is like soul crushing to just dwell on this stuff.
It
all
is.
The time.
It really is.
It affects your health too.
Now you see where all of this came from. It's like I'm tired of the Stitch and Bitch shows. I'm tired of complaining, because I did that too. I do like a half hour of pop culture shit, and it was just like actually I don't really care. Like I'm not watching Ahsoka. I'm not watching. I don't care about blackface Aragorn. I thought it was funny, but it's not. To me, Aragorn still looks like the old Rankin Bass or whatever cartoon. Where he's like, he kind of looks like an Indian,
Yeah, Native American.
Yeah, exactly. So
the way I think about it too is like, even if I wasn't gonna, I don't want to make myself miserable by watching this shit, which I would absolutely be miserable watching it. Even if I had the constitution for that, which I don't. I think about like the YouTubers that I really liked I watched them because of who they are and not because they were covering
Right.
the latest outrage thing.
Yeah.
I know it's lofty, but I figure if my channel is ever going to succeed, it's going to be because of me, not because I'm covering She-Hulk or whatever. And I don't want to succeed because I'm chasing latest outrage thing. I want people to come to my channel because of what I am uniquely able to present on the channel. If I'm succeed or fail, I want it to be for that reason.
Yeah. Like I've never watched, the Willow or what is it?
And now nobody can.
Wheel of Time. I don't know. Whatever.
Rings of Power is the new standard for high art, slave.
Wow. It's the new standard. All right.
Chad's on fire.
What a
over there.
standard it is, too.
Chad is hyped up today. Well, all right. I guess, does anybody have any last thing that they'd like to mention before we wrap her up? Okay, fair enough.
Follow me on X/Twitter. It's at
Wait.
Frost_comics, and that's where you can find
Yeah.
updates on everything that I've got going on. There's not a whole lot right now. There's going to be a lot of activity come November once we start seeing Out of Obscurity. I'm going to be positive feedback, negative feedback, anything that anyone has to say about Super Guy. I want to hear it all. So at me, let me know what you think.
I can't wait to hold that.
Once I've got more coming out on Project Seraphim, that's going to be the place to find it. I'm going to be dropping shorts and longs and all that good stuff, and you can check.
Well, I'll tell you. Sorry to interrupt your close. I was just your YouTube. I think has a lot of potential. You're obviously an articulate and intelligent guy.
Thank you.
Lean into that and build that now, because I think that
trying.
you're getting your charisma. You seem to be able to just get attention, anyways. So yeah, go for it for sure.
Oh yeah, man.
I hope so. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, but and then I'll have all of your guys' contact information in the description when all this goes live. So so I guess until then,
Enough talk.